Welcome back, everybody, to this week's live episode of the DCL Duo podcast, brought to you by My Path Unwinding Travel. And Sam, it's going to be a fun show tonight.
Yes.
I want to hand it over to you first because we got some reminders for folks, and I think people listen to you more than they'll ever listen to me on this show. They trust you. They hold a healthy skepticism for me. So, three reminders for our audience, Sam, of ways that they can help support our show with some very easy, lightweight things. So, you want to give those reminders really fast?
Number one, Apple Podcasts. Go on to Apple Podcasts if you have not yet already done so, and hit those 5 stars telling us that you love our show. If you really love our show, write a comment and we will read it on the air in one of our regular episodes. Okay, number 2. Go right now onto YouTube if you haven't gone onto YouTube yet and you're not watching us on YouTube, and hit subscribe. The more people we have subscribed to our YouTube, the more we will come up in people's search results, right? So let us help us get out there into the world by subscribing to our podcast on YouTube. Okay, the third thing is like episodes that you've watched on YouTube. That also helps with regard to that algorithm and getting us out there. And you keep seeing my thumbs going up because my Apple is giving all these emojis. I love it. I'm loving how Apple's working with the live shows today. So remember, do all those things and you will help us spread the DCL Duo love out in the community. So thanks for all of you who've already done so. We've got lots of friends watching us today already saying hello. We've got Linda saying hello, DCL Duo fam. We've got Bridget saying good evening, everyone. We've got CT, who's also tinfoil mouse ears, saying excited to see what the duo has for us tonight. We've got Kraus Mouse Adventures watching. We've got Jill watching. And Linda is saying, remember to check your Apple Podcast nickname. She didn't realize hers was like a super old, irrelevant nickname. So if you want us to know who you are when you are posting on Apple Podcasts. But
all right. Yes. Before we dive in, we got to introduce our guest, Sam. So let's get Alex in here. Second dad to the right. Welcome, Alex.
Hey. How are you guys doing? Thanks for bringing me in.
Yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. For those who don't know, we've had Alex on the show before, but it's been a little bit of a while. We had him come out and talk to us about all of the ins and outs of the nursery on board, as Alex has a bunch of kids and he knows everything about the process of getting your kids signed up for the nursery, what the ins and outs of going to the nursery is and all of that. But he also has his own blog. He's Second Dad to the Right. So if you look for his blog, you'll get all kinds of great information about Walt Disney World vacations and about Disney Cruise Line vacations. I even gave a shout out to him in our Facebook group earlier today because my sister posted asking for a packing list, and Alex has a fantastic packing list. Now it says it's for Disney Cruise Line because it does, of course, reference like bringing costumes and things like that for Pirate Night. But I think it's a great packing list for any cruise, and I actually directed my sister to it, even though we're traveling on Royal Caribbean next week with her. And
I feel like everyone should wear a pirate costume on every cruise just to spice things up.
I love it. I think that's a great idea.
Well, before we dive into our topic tonight, we've been trying to do a little roundtable of Disney Cruise Line news when it's available. So had some news items this week and thought we could all discuss them. Nothing, earth-shattering in the world of Disney Cruise Line, but still fun nonetheless. And starting off with some new Lighthouse Point merchandise that has been announced by Disney Cruise Line. Obviously not on sale yet because no one's gone to Lighthouse Point yet, but this is what you can expect to see. I've started off with, I think, our favorite, the Mickey and Minnie Caribbean plushie. Next up, we've got the Lighthouse Point ears. Of course, no Disney Cruise Line merchandise compliment would be complete without ears. Spirit jersey, shocking. I know, another Spirit jersey from Disney. There was rumors of the premature death of the Spirit jersey a few months ago, and still alive and kicking, alive and well. And of course, we got to get the Disney Cruise Line with the Loungefly and some Loungefly ears. It looks like so. Sam, are you buying all this stuff when we get to Lighthouse Point? None of it? Some of it? What do you think?
So the answer is definitely some, but not all. I will say the only must-have items on my list are Mickey and Minnie plushies, and that's probably to Brian's dismay, but I love them. I love the new Bahamian Mickey and Minnie. It matches their new costumes that they will have on the island. In fact, I think they've already introduced those costumes on Castaway.
On Castaway,
yeah, but they'll have the same outfits on Lookout Key as well. And so, yeah, I'm super excited. I'm definitely going to, I know Brian doesn't want more plushies in the house, but there are going to be more Mickey and Minnie plushies in the house.
No, I'm pretty stoked because I like this thing that we picked up from Adventures by Disney where you take one of the plushies around with you for vacation. I think that's kind of fun, like take pictures of them, that kind of thing. So I think that's kind of fun. I will say the only thing that I was like the color scheme feels weird for the Spirit jersey and the purse and the ears. I mean, it's like bright red, and I mean, it's got this I don't know, it's got this Native American vibe to it almost.
It's supposed to be those costumes that they wear when they do the welcome ceremony for the ship. It's the traditional Bahamian. It's like these dance costumes. They kind of remind me like a Native American dress, but they also kind of remind me of like the Hawaiian dress. But it's clearly like the traditional Bahamian attire for like those welcome ceremonies and dances. My
favorite comment on this was just like, are we really going to sell Spirit jerseys in the middle of the Caribbean? Like, I guess, I mean, they sell out great in the parks in the middle of Orlando in the summer. So I don't know.
They sell $300 parkas in Norway in Epcot if you want.
True.
Right.
It looks like from this distance, it's kind of small on my screen. It looks like a roulette wheel.
Yeah, it does kind of look like yeah.
Maybe it foreshadows what we can expect on the adventure. All right. Well, I think we've about drained the slide here on Disney Cruise Line merchandise on Lighthouse Point. But next up, some big news. I had to zoom in on this photo so everyone could see it. If you're listening to this later, you should head over to YouTube afterwards to see some of the visuals we have. But that is water sitting underneath the Disney Treasure. So the Disney Treasure experienced water under her keel for the first time. She was floated, not floated out. She was floated this week. They will be floating her out pretty soon, I would guess, because they got to start making room. The Destiny is being built directly in front of her. So there are pictures of the Treasure sitting right behind the Destiny. So they're going to have to move her out of the building sooner or later so they can make room to keep working on the Destiny. But water under the keel for the first time of the Disney Treasure. It's a big moment. Can't wait to do maybe another Mystery Science 3000 Theater 3000 episode with you, Sam, when they do the float out or the christening. I haven't decided which, but definitely be bringing one of those back. All right.
Brian, we're getting some feedback that your mic is much louder than mine and Alex's, and mine and Alex's are about the same volume. So thank you to Lindsay who's given us that comment. It's one of those things that we can't tell the volume levels for the listener on this live platform. So we do appreciate that feedback. If you can't hear one of us or one of us is too loud, please let us know. And Brian will turn his gain down on his mic.
Yeah, I have now turned my mic down. I hope that is acceptable to folks. All right. Next up, facial recognition is coming to Port Canaveral as you exit the ship, which should speed things along for you. We've already heard from people who have experienced this off of Disney Cruise Line recently. So I've used this off of Royal. And I think it's super fast. You don't even have to have your passport out. You just walk up, they scan your face, they're validating it as against a picture they have on file from when you boarded. And if the two things match, you're free to go. So really speeds things up and moves things along. I don't know. Sam, you excited to have another opportunity for some biometric data recognition? I don't know.
I'm giving you 2 thumbs up, and apparently the fireworks have just started behind me. I think this is great.
For those watching at home, Sam has not turned off her reactions on Apple or on Apple. She's on a Mac, and they've built in some reactions.
Alex gave you 2 thumbs up, and nothing happened.
Yeah, if you do 2 thumbs down, it just starts raining.
I'm on a laptop, so I'm on a PC. Don't get anything cool.
There you go.
There you go. Well, facial recognition coming to Port Canaveral. I suspect they might already have it at Fort Lauderdale. I can't remember. And so, yeah, that'll be speed things along, which is always nice because those lines at the end are just long and atrocious. So anyway, all right, let's move on to the topic of the day. Let me pull the slides down, get us all back together. Sam, it's your show. It's your topic. You came up with this, so you intro it. Go for it.
So tonight we're going to talk top 5 reasons to sail on Disney Cruise Line, but in an attempt to make sure that we are fair and balanced. You know, we are your news source. We want to be reliable and make sure we give you all of the valid information. I asked Alex to tell me 5 reasons why one shouldn't sail on Disney Cruise Line. So I'm going to hand this over to Alex to start with your number 5. Count us down to 1. But what is your number 5 reason to not sail on Disney Cruise Line?
Okay, so I mean, Facebook user, whoever, that's an interesting first and last name, has already kind of hit this. But I've been saving up a ton of money I got 3 kids, and they got this college fund, and I feel like I could double it on a DCL cruise if I had some slot machines.
Yeah.
And it'd be great if I could smoke in the middle of the boat while I'm playing these slot machines.
I love it.
And then the other thing is that after I'm done with that, after I've doubled their college fund, I want to head over to one of the bars, and I need like that R-rated comedy where it's the same jokes they told at the theater, but they just say a lot more F words. And then, if I have to cover my kids' ears every once in a while while we're walking around the boat, that would really add the extra adrenaline that I'm missing.
I love it.
Well, you've got to be able to use a drink package, right? I mean, you got to be a drink package in there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because, I mean, if I have to spend money on a Coke Zero anyway, I might as well spend money on alcohol. So
right. Nice. You got any other reasons for us why one shouldn't sail on Disney Cruise Line, Alex?
Yeah. So I don't do a great job making my kids eat vegetables at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if I could get the cruise line to make them eat vegetables, that would be helpful. But instead, they just give them all the stuff they want, and they already have it ready for them when we get there. And it's frustrating because I can't get them to parent for me.
Yeah, I know. Come on. I feel like your wait staff absolutely should be feeding your kids vegetables. Maybe we should hide the vegetables, in something, but they should definitely force feed your kids vegetables. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of the cast members, on every cruise ship, you have these amazing employees that will do what you ask them to do. But I've found that on a Disney cruise, there are certain employees that you ask them for something, they do nothing. I was in one of the restaurants, one of the waitresses was in a purple dress, and I kept asking her for a drink, and she would not give it to me. And she had this long blonde hair, and she was singing songs, and they just completely ignored me.
Oh.
She wanted to take pictures with me. She would sign autographs, but she would not give us our food.
Darn it. That's terrible.
All right. I gotta stop this madness. If you're out there watching, this goes along with our news item from earlier today of the Baymax bar. It was April Fools.
April Fools. We're never going to give you balanced and a fair assessment of Disney Cruise Line. We love Disney Cruise Line.
No, that's not true. That's not true. We try
joking.
to be fair. We try to be fair. All right.
I hadn't gotten into how I want my toilet and my shower next to each other. My wife really wants to sit on the toilet while she shaves her legs. That's what she told me.
She told you that. Oh, Alex, that one might be my favorite.
Yeah.
I love it. All right.
And for everyone out there, because
I don't want a casino, Mr. Facebook user.
No casino. Yes. Yeah, somebody told you just to go to Vegas, and then I think they signed off of the stream. So there you go.
My bad.
I did want to tell people. I did want to tell people that we did post this image earlier today in our Facebook and all of our social media about how Disney had provided an artist rendering of a new bar space on board the Adventure, a Big Hero 6 themed bar with Baymax bartending, a la some of the robotic bars we've seen on other ships. It's completely false. It's fake for all of you out there listening, watching. It's not real. It was just something we used good old AI to generate and have a little fun today.
Seriously, for a split second, I was like, they didn't tell me we were talking about this. I was like, this is amazing.
This is amazing. I love it. Well, we got to pull up this comment from Josh McHenry. Alex is hilarious. Thanks for the laughs in this section. And then we've got Audrey. I wonder who that is. That guy, Alex, is so funny. That's Alex's wife. Hi, Audrey. But we asked Alex if he would be our funny man for this section of the show, because we knew that you all wouldn't believe us if we told you that we wanted a casino on board Disney Cruise Line and that we wanted Disney Cruise Line to force feed our kid things like vegetables.
To be fair, my idea for the show was that we were going to announce that we were shifting gears and becoming the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line duo. You can see here now our background has changed to our new logo, the RCCL duo.
No, it's
actually the RCCL trio,
right.
Because we would get Nathan more involved in the show since he loves Royal Caribbean so much. But alas, I was downvoted for that. So back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Oh, speaking of other cruise lines, another one I was going to mention is how Disney never saves electricity by turning off the power for a couple days.
I like it.
Nice.
I like it.
Nice. If any of you out there have seen some particularly good cruise line April Fool's jokes today, feel free to post them in the comments. I'd love to see them. My favorite one was Royal Caribbean announced that they would have these massive water slides coming off the side of the ship, so you could slide all the way down into the ocean off of the ship,
water.
and yeah, it looked hilarious and dangerous. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, the real meat of the show is, in fact, our top 5 reasons to sail Disney Cruise Line. I guess I will manage the order here, and we'll just round robin. Alex, you're the guest. You're the guest. You already brought the humor, so let's start with you. What's your number 5 reason in particular or no particular order why you would sail Disney Cruise Line?
Well, you're going with me first, so I'm going to go with the obvious one, is that Disney has all these IPs that they can do all this theming with. And so, I'm a dad of 3 kids. And so having all the restaurants, all the bars, all the shows be their favorite movies, their favorite characters, you can't do that. I mean, maybe if DreamWorks were to sign a deal with a bunch of cruise ships or the Grimm brothers, I don't know. That's the only way you could have this. Yeah, I mean, it's the only way you could have this cohesiveness that I feel like Disney brings.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah. Sam, what's your first one? Top reason?
My first one is there's only a couple of places in the world where you as an adult can dress up and not look totally foolish. And
are you going, wait, let me ask, are you going in from 5 to 1 or are you just given 5 reasons?
I'm going from 5 to 1, but some of these
all right.
I'm
still holding out hope. I know what number 1 is. Okay. All right. Keep going.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So in some places in the world, like at Disney parks, right, you can dress up as an adult and people don't look at you strangely. And you can kind of do that if you're headed to a Halloween party around Halloween. But generally speaking, you don't get to do that. But Disney Cruise Line is one of the places where you can dress up and get to, Disney bound. So you get to dress like your favorite character and wear crazy ears, and people don't look at you funny at all. Like you're just one of the gang. You're one of their people. So it's
you just don't notice the people looking at you funny, Sam. That's
no. They really, I swear, they really don't look at you funny because they're all dressed the same.
I'm wearing stuff just to get compliments.
Yeah. Right. But honestly,
I'm here in Clearwater though, which is the headquarters of Scientology. So I feel like I can get away with a lot of weird stuff here.
I love it. And there are people who told us on our show that we talked to from like Australia and New Zealand that they were a little surprised at how much Disney bounding was happening on the ships, because obviously they don't really see that every day down under. They only see that at like a Disney park. And so, yeah, I think that's my number 5. Brian?
Okay. I mean, I think the number 5 reason to sail Disney Cruise Line is the technology, right? I mean, it's just so fabulous on board. It always works. All right. Number 5 reason to sail Disney Cruise Line. This is tough. I'm not going to go in a particular order because I think they're going to come to me as I go. And I'm going to have to adjust real time in response to all of your great comments. I think one of the top reasons is the staterooms on board can accommodate families, and you don't have to get like a suite in order to accommodate a family. Now, one thing I'll say is some of the staterooms that are labeled family veranda staterooms in Disney Cruise Line would qualify as suites on some of the other cruise lines, so that may be kind of an inapt comparison. But I think the fact that they've got the split bathrooms, they've got rooms that can accommodate up to 5 people at a time, and that the beds are like comfortable for multiple people, right? They're not like the Royal Caribbean bed I had on the Independence of the Seas was not super comfortable. So I think those rooms, I think the way that they've designed the rooms and laid them out, I think that's a great reason to sail Disney
and
Cruise
split
Line.
bathrooms, right? I mean, having as Alex the toilet and the shower not in the same room, that's lovely.
And having
I love
two
that.
sinks so someone can brush their teeth while somebody's in the bathroom.
Exactly.
Speeds at bedtime.
Yep. We should say to our audience out there, if you're watching and you've got good reasons to sail Disney Cruise Line, let us know because we'll throw them up in the show here. It looks like Josh is saying that one of the good April Fool's jokes he saw was water skiing behind the ship as a new paid activity.
Can you imagine how much air you could get on that wake?
That would be awesome.
And then CT is saying Disney does have the best IP in response to Alex's comment, except Psych. I think CT and I both enjoyed the show Psych. So yeah,
I would say The Office could use a Disney purchasing.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
if I could combine those two things, well, we have on T-shirts, but.
All right, number 4, Sam. We're going to go reverse round robin here. What's number 4 for you?
Number 4 is Castaway Key.
That's only number 4?
Yeah, number 4 is Castaway Key. I mean, listen,
is number 3
I'm
Lighthouse
adjusting.
Point?
No, I'm adjusting my order to be fair. But no, I mean, it's a great private island. Of course, not every sailing goes there, but I think it's the best beach day you will have. It is beautiful. There's plenty of places to, sit. There's umbrellas for shade. There's great bars. I like the cookies barbecue. I mean, I have no problems with it. I know other people have criticisms of it, but I actually really like it. I really love a day on Castaway, and a day on Castaway is better than any day at home, right? So, I mean, a day on a ship is also better than any day at home, but Castaway is just a special place to me. And so, yeah, Castaway is my number 4.
All right, Alex, you're up. Number 4.
All right. I don't think mine are in any particular order. There's mostly undoing my jokes from earlier. But I want to follow up with what Brian was saying. I think the veranda options.
Oh, yeah.
I fact checked myself to make sure I was right about this before we started. But, 70 to 80% of Disney ship staterooms are verandas. And even the best of Royal Caribbean is like 60%. Their oldest ship has 12% verandas. All of Carnival is below 50%. Like, it's just like, so number one, it means that you get to enjoy the ocean and the view so much more, but it also means that the verandas are so much cheaper compared to the other ones. Like, because I remember when we first got married and we would look at Carnival cruises, it was like a 100% jump to go from like a ocean view to a veranda on a Carnival cruise because there's just so few of them. And so that's just like the standard. Most people you see are in a veranda on a Disney cruise, which is just awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like some of the other cruise lines pull some shenanigans when it comes to verandas, like the Oasis ships that have like the interior view veranda staterooms now, or it's like you're looking into
you're in a
like,
shopping mall.
mall,
or the contemporary hotel or something. I don't know, right? Like it's just, I think that's, I think
if there was a monorail, I'd want that.
Don't give Royal any ideas. It's coming probably soon to a ship near you. The ship is so big, we had to put transportation inside. All right, so back to me, number 4 here. I could totally steal Sam's thunder, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because I know what she's going to say. I'm going to say number 4 is that it's fun for all. So we have sailed Disney Cruise Line as adults only. We've sailed Disney Cruise Line with our son when he was younger. He's now getting a little bit older. He'll age out into Edge here pretty soon. Have seen families successfully sail with teenagers. Have seen multi-generational families sail with grandparents. And I just think Disney Cruise Line does a really good job of like bringing out the kid at heart in everyone and providing a little something for everyone. Could they do more for adults? Sure. Could they provide more activities on board? Absolutely. But I think that they strike a really good... no casinos. That's going to be actually. I'll get to that in one second. But I think they provide a good balance for everyone to enjoy themselves and keep it like really family friendly and fun throughout. So I think that's the number 4 reason for me. But since I'm in control here, I'm going to skip straight to number 3, and it's exactly what Alex just said, which is no casinos. Like I am not a fan. I used to. when I was younger, I loved to gamble. I loved to go to Vegas. I frequented the casinos on the cruise ships.
Not slots though. He would do.
No,
he and
I
I would do blackjack
cards.
or poker.
Yeah. Blackjack
You
or
guys
poker.
counting cards?
No,
You guys seem
no,
like
no.
a couple that would get
Confirm or
together and count
deny.
cards.
We'd
I can
signal
neither
each
confirm
other.
or deny. Yeah. But I think it's great that Disney doesn't have casinos. I really don't need one on the ship, and I'm really happy that it's not there. When I was on the Royal ship recently, I went to the casino for a bit. It was fine. I mean, it was fine. You got some free drinks. The only way to get a free drink on Royal without a drink package, I suppose, or I guess an included drink. But I didn't need it, and I certainly didn't need the smoking on board and all that sort of stuff. So I thought it was really great not to have a casino. So. Reversing once again, Alex, number three from you.
I think rotational dining.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That, and I can't say for sure that I'm assuming that most cruise lines don't, but the idea that you've got these different venues with different menus, with different shows. It's great for adults because they get to try lots of different types of food. It's great for kids because they get to see the new environments and the shows, even if they're eating chicken tenders or pizza at every single meal, like mine. But I love like going. And then even if you go to the same venue, you're going to get a different experience the second time. It's
Totally.
just, it's great.
Yeah, and it is not something available on any other cruise line. It's something that Disney Cruise Line invented. And there are other cruise lines where you have multiple choices of where to eat. Like it might have more than one like sort of main dining or some included specialty dining. But there's nothing like rotational dining in the industry where the server follows you from place to place. And so
and that personal touch is so amazing. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah.
No, I was just say yet. I'm sure that sooner or later someone might copy this kind of setup. I wanted to pile onto this by saying rotational dining is also great because your kids can order off the adult menu, and it's a great way for them to try new things that you might not otherwise really be able to expose them to. And I mean, like, who gets escargot out at dinner, right? And it's on the cruise ship. And so if your kids want to try something and be adventurous, they can take a no thank you bite, and then that's it. Like you're not out like the money for the appetizer or whatever it is.
And they can still eat and they can still eat mac and cheese as their main, or they can get a steak and the waiter's going to cut it for you. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean,
the ketchup's always in Mickey ears.
And the ketchup is always Mickey ears. You got to love that. Love it.
All right, Sam, I think we're rounding the horn and coming your direction. Number 3.
All right. I can't believe neither of you have mentioned this yet. Characters. I mean, their characters are everywhere, right? You can, what other ship can you see Mickey on?
But they will not take your drink order.
They will not take your drink order. Rapunzel will not bring you a drink. Neither will one of the thugs at Rapunzel's royal table. But they will laugh with you. They will hug you. They will sign autographs. They will sing with you. They will take your kid's hand and walk around the ship with them. I mean, there is nothing better than the character interactions on board Disney Cruise Line. You've got Marvel characters. You've got villains. You've got the Fab Five. I mean, it's just, and then of course pirates, right? So there's nothing better than Disney characters. I don't know if they're just the best at training them and they have the best costumes, but it's all of the above. And yeah, you're not going to see Mickey on Princess Cruise Line or Holland America.
Well, you might, but it'll be one of those creepy Mickey and Minnies that we see in like Times Square that like haunt your dreams for like months afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Truly terrible.
My goal eventually is to see the sleepwalking Goofy.
Oh, he's
yeah.
great.
We've seen him. We've seen him.
We've seen him once. Yeah.
I think he comes out on the longer cruises. I haven't seen him come out on a 7-night.
I like the track running Mickey. Yeah.
Yes.
That's definitely
Exercise Mickey. Exercise Mickey. All right. Before we get to our number 2s and number 1s, I want to change it up a little bit. And I'm going to toss another question in here in a second.
No.
First question I have for us, just round the horn here. Itinerary you must sail on Disney Cruise Line. Like, what do you think? It could be one you've sailed or one that you have heard so many great things about. You have to do it yourself at some point. It's like on your bucket list. Alex, I'm going to throw it to you first.
So, I've got really little kids, so we don't travel very far. So we've only done Caribbean cruises with them. So now they're all over the place. I mean, would love to do an Alaska itinerary, love to do a Europe itinerary, would love to, because my kids, I mean, they're so little, we don't like to get off the boat at the ports very often. So a transatlantic or like around the, if they do a repositioning around the Panama Canal, going all the way to Hawaii, like any of those sound amazing.
Awesome.
So I don't really have a good one because we've only done, again, like only Caribbean cruises. So anything but that. That's a bucket list.
Yeah. Okay. Because I don't want to take Brian's because I think I know which one he's going to say. I'm going to say Eastern Caribbean. I love the Eastern Caribbean itinerary. It is
I thought you'd go Southern. Caribbean.
I was debating, but the Southern sometimes it's a really great itinerary and sometimes it's not as good. It just kind of depends where they're going. But I feel like the Eastern is reliably always a really good itinerary and it stops at Castaway Cay, right? So you gotta, get on Disney Cruise Line and go to Castaway Cay. But I don't really want to recommend people do like the Nassau Castaway on the Wish because that's only a 3 or 4 night cruise. So if I'm going to pick just an itinerary that's awesome.
Tracy is disavowing
Tracy's saying the Southern
now.
11. I understand. Yep. Listen, Tracy, I'm with you. That's probably the one I would choose. But if I'm going to recommend to somebody in general, I'm probably going to say the 7-night Eastern Caribbean itinerary, which is currently on the Fantasy, but will be on the Treasure.
Josh
definitely prefer that.
Yeah.
2-week countdown for the Eastern. Eastern is our favorite go-to, just standard itinerary. Love it. Absolutely love it.
We definitely prefer the Eastern over the Western.
Yeah, agreed. It's a better itinerary. All right, Brian, what is the top one that you would recommend to someone?
So I suspect you thought I was going to say Norway, but I'm not going to go there because Norway is a fabulous itinerary. I would say everyone needs to sail to Norway, but I don't know that you need to sail it on Disney Cruise Line to get the most out of it because we weren't on the ship for it. Nope, not going to say Alaska either because I'm a little annoyed that Disney doesn't go out of Seattle. I'm sure it's going to be a fabulous itinerary, but I just want to sail out of my home city once in my life, and I'll have to make that happen at some point. I am actually going to say that it is either a double dip or a triple dip or a duo dip or whatever it is on Disney Cruise Line. So if my question was itinerary you have to sail on Disney, I think one of those triple dip itineraries, or the duo dip, I guess we're calling it. Yes. One of these like multiple stops at Castaway and Lighthouse Point. I think that is the quintessential Disney Cruise Line experience. You will never leave.
That's what we're looking at in January. We're looking at doing one of the Dream, Castaway, and Lookouts.
Love it. Love it.
I'm looking forward to the DVC cruise is basically Castaway, Lighthouse, Castaway, or Lighthouse, Castaway, Lighthouse. I forget which, but I'm like, we're never setting foot in Nassau. We're never leaving Disney. So
you don't need Nassau.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds great if you need a medical emergency.
True. They have full hospital resources there. That's absolutely fair.
All right, let's get to number 2. Number 2 on the list. Sam, coming back to you. Number 2, the number 2 reason to sail Disney Cruise Line for you.
This is a hard one, but number 2 is Disney cast members. There are no better crew at sea, on land, what have you, than Disney trained people. Like they go out of their way for above and beyond service, down to, as I mentioned, them, cutting up your kid's steak at dinner, to making sure that you've got everything in your stateroom that you need, to making sure that you get to your excursions on time, to, making fun of you on stage in a dance competition, running trivia. I mean, just every person on that ship is doing their part to make sure that you are having an amazing vacation. And I don't know if it's that they just interview people really well to find such great people in general, or if it's a training, or if it's a combination thereof. I tend to think it's a combination thereof. They find really good people, and then they also train those good people really, really well.
Well, we don't know what goes on below decks. The beatings continue until morale improves. So,
But in general, I just think that there is no staff or whatever you want to call them, crew, better than Disney cast members. So my number 2 is them.
All right, Alex, number 2.
Well, I want to piggyback on that one. Just like my best memory of Disney cruise is, I think our first or second cruise. Belle just sitting on the stairs with my oldest daughter and just talking to her for 5 minutes. You can't you can't beat that. And, you know, she was still young enough at this point that it was like the most magical thing she'd ever experienced in her whole life. And
they're just constantly like creating magic and pixie dust for adults, for kids, for, I mean, just for everyone, I think. And they do a great job with like lots of differences too, right? Like people who have disabilities or other kinds of differences. I feel like they also just, I don't know what it is. They just know how to connect with people on such an amazing level. Yeah.
All right. I got to put in a plug. If you're watching the show and we haven't hit one of your top 5 reasons, start throwing them in the chat, because we're going to go back through some of the chat items. I've been starring them along the way. We're going to come back through and bring them up. All right. My number 2 reason, and I can't believe we haven't.
You didn't get Alex's number 2 reason.
Oh, I thought he was piggybacking on yours. No, Alex.
No, I was elaborating on hers.
He was elaborating on mine, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, number 2,
which is also an elaboration of my IP one. So I think one of the big things for me, I mean, I think we've touched on this. You talked about it for everyone, but I want to like really dig into how awesome the kids clubs and the nursery are.
Yes.
That, you know, I just, you know, it's a shameless plug, but I just finished a blog post a couple of weeks ago about Disney Cruise versus Disney World. And one of the big things is, you know, you can have these amazing experiences together as a family, and then there's somewhere for everyone to go so you can just relax as adults.
Yes.
Without having to find some random, you know, babysitter somewhere or bring somebody along. That, you know, my 2-year-old loves going to the nursery. My older girls love going to the, you know, the Oceaneers Club and Lab, and we can just enjoy a book for a while and then get back together like that. That's just, it's a combination of relaxing adult time and family time. It's just unbeatable.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point you bring up. I mean, you've ran your kids ragged around the parks and then there's no escaping them, right? So, and whereas on the cruise, you can do a bunch of fun stuff all together, and then you can put them in the kids club and you can go have Palo brunch or go sit on the pool deck and relax for an hour or two. There's really nothing better than that.
All right, I have to put this comment up because I don't think any of us are going to say this as a.
I know. I was going to bring it up. Yeah.
But I love this comment from Peggy.
Bars.
It says the top reason is Mickey bars. We have docked next to other lines in Nassau, and guests have pleaded with us to throw them a Mickey bar. I would actually love to see that happen. Just Mickey bars being hurled at like some sort of like, you know, kind of weird pirate attack against a Carnival Cruise Line ship as people are throwing Mickey bars at them. But yeah, Mickey bars are great. Where is it? Peggy also put up her secret recipe here: Mickey bars with warm chocolate chip cookies.
Ooh.
A little too much sugar for me, but I like it. I like where you're headed with that. All right, so my number 2 reason, because Alex just took my number 2 reason.
He did.
But I'm ready. I've got backups for days. All right, so my number 2 reason is attention to detail. And I say that just because there are these times on the cruise ship, and I've talked about this in the show before. One of my favorites is you're in the main pool area, funnel vision's going, kids are screaming, splashing, having a great time. You saunter 50 yards ahead, pass a divider, and you're in the adult area, and you can't hear any of that. There's spa music playing, drink servers circulating, sound of the waterfall. It's amazing to me that level of detail that they put into these spaces, the themes, the little touches on board, it just makes it matter. The music playing in the hallways. I am beyond excited to get on the Treasure and see this like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea bar, because if they just execute that well, it's going to be so cool to see. So I love all the little touches, some of the understatement that they do, and some of the the dining
Hidden
rooms,
Mickeys.
1923 hidden Mickey. I just think it's so elegant.
Easter eggs everywhere.
So that attention to detail, and then it extends to the service, it extends to cleanliness of the ship, all of that sort of stuff. I just think that is like probably actually my number 1 reason to sail Disney Cruise Line, but I got to save room for, I guess, one other thing. So it'll be my number 2 reason this time around. So, all right. Before we get to our number ones, I got another sort of hand grenade to lob into the discussion here. Favorite food item on Disney Cruise Line? Sam, you got to name one food item. We already have
one food.
We already have a guess. We already have a guess in here.
I know it's not that. So it's not. I like the truffle persets, but those are not my number one.
So
I'm sorry.
the guess coming from the DCL villain Josh is that Sam's number one would be truffle persets, and mine would be chicken tenders. Wrong on both counts, Josh, but I like where you're going.
Yes,
Sam, number one.
Number one. Oh my God, this is too much pressure. Okay, I'm gonna actually go with the sweet food, which is crazy because I always pick savories, and it's not gonna be a Apollo item, even though I absolutely love that chicken parm. But I'm gonna say that my number one food, and this is crazy, but I'm gonna say it. Oreo cheesecake on Embarkation Day. That is the best dessert I think I've ever had in my life. Honestly, I don't know
that is high praise from a New Yorker right there.
Yeah, I'm not sure that there's a better dessert that I've ever eaten other than that. Like I really can't say. And even like I know people love the Apollo souffle, the chocolate souffle, the amaretto souffle. Those are good. Oh, churro Mickey waffles are great too. Cross Mouse Adventures, but I think that Embarkation Day Oreo cheesecake is I know that's surprising, but that's number one. Not chicken parm. I know, Linda.
Parm.
I know
Not
that chicken parm is
parm.
it's fantastic, but I can get really good chicken parm other places. I've never had Oreo cheesecake like that anyplace else.
All right, Alex, give us your favorite food item on Disney Cruise Line.
Man, it's hard to even say. I'll go with pretty much everything at Tiana's place.
Yeah, Tiana's
I
so
love
good.
the New Orleans food, the bread pudding, the beignets, just all that's so good. But I would say one of the most unique things to me that I've never seen anywhere else, so it seems like anyone could have the technology, is going up to Cove Cafe and getting a coffee with, I don't know if you guys, with the foam on it that has the images of the characters on it.
I love
That's
that.
one of the most creative things I've ever seen.
I do love that. I love Peggy's comment. Yes.
Yeah. Peggy's writing, oh my God, Sam, my husband insists on cruising concierge just for the Oreo cheesecake on Embarkation Day at their lunch. And you can also get it in cabanas though, right?
Yes. Well, you can't, it's not the same piece. There'll be like smaller pieces of it. So it's tastes the same, but it's in a different like shape. And I think you can get it at the sit down lunch that is the non-concierge sit down lunch as well.
Yeah.
So you can get it in multiple places. You don't have to be in concierge to get it. It's just they give you the bigger piece at the sit down lunch than you get at cabanas. You got to grab like 2 or 3 of them.
These are the kinds of hard hitting tips we give you to help you save $10,000 on your next Disney Cruise Line
grab
sailing.
like 3 or 4 of them at cabanas. I won't judge you. I'll actually be sitting right next to you eating them.
Linda's saying her number one is the souffle, and Bridget's saying fried brie. Anyone? I've never tried the fried brie on board. I'm not a big fried brie person, but maybe I'll
I'm not a big
shot.
brie
It's
person.
good.
You like
It's
brie,
really good.
though. Yeah, I'm not a big brie person. I love that CT thinks I'm running a fever because I didn't say truffle persets. I do love the truffle persets. They're just not number one. Let me put that out there. They're in my top.
This is
maybe
not
10.
April Fool's, people. This is live TV right here.
This is real.
This is not
real.
April Fool's.
All right, Brian, what is your favorite food item?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to give 2 because one is
you're cheating.
No, one is transient and fleeting, and it's probably not even on the menu anymore. My favorite food item I've ever had on Disney Cruise Line was that poulet rouge chicken dish in Remy, where they like stuffed cornbread between the skin and the chicken, and like,
It's really good.
I could have eaten that for days. It was so
that is the
so
best
good.
chicken I maybe have had.
Yeah, so good. But the one that you can get reliably, lasagna at Palo. I think it's still one of the best lasagnas I've ever had. It's delicious and I love it. So that is my favorite Disney Cruise Line food. Maybe second place in my heart is the smoked old fashioned from Hook's Barbary, but that's not really a food item. I guess. I mean, it's a drink. Maybe it qualifies.
I love me a banana Caribe too. So
there you go. All right. We're down to number
if you
one.
want a good, random tip.
Oh.
If you want a good smoked old fashioned, the Edison at Disney Springs, they use these weird glass
Contraption.
tube, like they're doing some kind of 1920s science experiment. It was a fun experience just for the girls to watch me get a smoked old fashioned.
Everyone's making a smoked old fashioned now at Disney. Like there was a memo that must have gone around that said like they must have extra wood to burn or something. I don't know.
Well, it's everywhere. It's like the big thing. We went to the Ritz-Carlton in Amelia Island, and like we walked into the bar, and the whole thing was like just a giant cloud of smoke from all the smoked old fashions that all the golfers were getting.
I love
I
it.
got one at a really nice steakhouse here when we were out to dinner, and it smelled like a
did.
campfire for a good 10 minutes after the waitress left the table from doing it. So yeah,
I think it smells like a sauna if they get the right oak.
there you go. There you go. All right. Number one, with a bullet, your number one reason to sail on Disney Cruise Line. Alex, I'm going to start with you. You're the guest.
So again, I have been going completely. I prepped really hard for the first part, and I have not really prepped very hard for the second one. So I'm going to go, and I wrote an article about this with the bed. I mean, you talked about the bed a little bit, but the bed. I mean, I don't know what it is. My kids, well, there was that one cruise, but my kids usually sleep through a night better than ever before. It might be the rocking of the ship.
I think it's the rocking of the ship and the
if
bed.
they don't sleep, we can go back and take a nap. That bed is just so comfortable. It's actually made by Biscayne because I did all the research to find it all.
And you have the pillows on your website also, right? You listed out where the pillows come from as well. I remember. Yeah. I love it.
But it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just like, it like hugs you and tells you everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. For me, I think the sleep is the bed, but the rocking, I think, also helps.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get really fantastic sleep. And I know that folks who like to sail in inside staterooms say the same thing about the darkness, right? That it helps them sleep as well. So, yeah, I think all of the things.
All right, Sam. Number one, I'm putting it up. Is it in fact the yes, it is the stage show.
I wasn't going to say that one because I knew that had to come up.
It is in fact Disney stage shows. It's not just that they're better than every other cruise line, although I like that comment, but it's just that they are fantastic Broadway quality and in a shorter time frame. So instead of like 2.5 hours of sitting in a theater or 3 hours of sitting in a theater with intermission, you get a fantastic Broadway style show in an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. That's like the longest ones they have. So you're talking fantastic stage performers, fantastic special effects, beautiful sets, beautiful costuming, wonderful dancing. There's nothing better than a Disney stage show. I would rather be in the Walt Disney Theater any day than sitting in a Broadway theater with my legs cramped up to my chest and having to sit in that spot for 3 hours. So yeah, give me Disney stage shows on the Walt Disney Theater and Disney Cruise Line over any other theater experience.
All right. Let's work back through some of our comments. We've got some potential detractors here who are taking issue with some of our picks, or maybe lack of picks.
You have to give your number one and Alex's number one, Brian.
Well, he's going to pick from there, so he saves some base.
No, yeah. Alex gave
I did mine.
Alex,
you did
Alex
yours.
gave his number one.
Brian didn't give yours. Yeah,
all right,
Brian, you did.
I said the bed because sleep is half the trip.
That's right.
Yeah,
if you do it right.
All right. Well, I'm going to disappoint some fans out there. Let me just start by saying a lot of people are saying fireworks should be in the mix. Someone else was talking about.
Fireworks at sea are great. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone else was talking about Pirate Night on here as being kind of a reason that you have to do it for the fireworks. I enjoy fireworks at sea, but I think my number one reason, I'm going to go with Tracy's. The fabulous friends you meet on board. So thank you, Tracy.
Aww.
I think that is a great one to cap off the number one reason. Ashley has a similar feeling here of my number one is the feeling of home and memories and happiness. I think all of that is right. I will never forget when we stepped back on the Disney Fantasy, I think it was, after the restart, and they did the little show in the atrium, and we got to watch the character cavalcade in Enchanted Garden one evening, and Nathan was just the happiest I had seen him since the start of the pandemic. And when they played that Mickey horn, the Mickey horn is really tugs at my heart. Like I think I was in tears or near tears multiple times on that cruise, just watching everyone have so much fun after so many years of a pandemic. So I agree. It's got to be the friends and the memories and all that sort of stuff is the number one reason. All right, let's walk through some comments, and I've got one more question to round out the show, maybe to bookend us all the way back to the April Fool's theme of this show. We shall see. Josh is saying that Castaway has to be one of the best reasons to sail on Disney Cruise Line. I think we completely agree. Peggy was saying at one point that she's got a cruise in the Fantasy in October that's doing 2 Castaway stops and 1 lighthouse. Nothing can top that. I'm going to tell you, I think the DVC cruise tops it with the reverse: 2 stops at Lighthouse Point and 1 stop at Castaway.
Yeah,
That's just
we'll
my-
see. We'll
that's
see.
just my
We'll
thing.
see. We don't know.
Yeah, with the podcast cruise right after, which makes it 3 stops at Lighthouse Point, 2
Yeah.
stops at Castaway Key. So it's going to be all Disney all the time there. What else we got here that I wanted to work back through? There you go. Disney Entertainment, Sam. Elizabeth is saying Disney Entertainment, first-run movies and Disney-themed games. Yes.
I'm with you,
I
Elizabeth.
think that's a great.
Yeah, I watched a
great
lot of
reason.
first-run movies.
Yeah.
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 There's nothing. The premiere at sea is a lot of fun. Although I hate taking 2 hours out of a cruise
I
vacation
know,
to
it's
go watch
hard. It's
a
hard.
movie.
Well, for me, it's like went to bed at 9. My wife wants to go to sleep, and so I go watch the 10 o'clock, and then I still get a
late
good
night movie.
night's sleep. Yeah.
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 I love it.
Along my lines of the sort of the attention to detail, CT saying one of my reasons the details Disney puts into a restaurant like Palo. I think a cast member told us the wood in the restaurant was from Italy. There is a weld on the wonder, so she matches the magic. Palo. They also have the hand blown Italian glass. There's just there are little details
In Remy,
everywhere.
they've got Chateau Latour, right? The wine from the movie, right? Like they
Well,
have all of these touches. Yeah.
They sold one of the bottles.
I know, but they
apparently, yeah.
But that's like all the detail that they put into those restaurants. I mean, down to the fabric on the seats in Remy, they have little rat figures in them. Like it's amazing.
Although I still contend they need a window into the kitchen and like the rat kind of standing in the window, or when the chef comes out, he's got the hat with the backlit rat in it or something.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun. And then Peggy's saying number 1 is the crew. I think you mentioned that, Sam, is one of yours. The crew on board is fantastic, and they do a great job. Let's see what else we've got
Congrats
here.
on 45 sailings, Peggy. My goodness, you've almost got that Castaway plaque. 5 more cruises, and you will have your name on Castaway Key.
Yeah. Krausmouse is saying their younger daughter's number 1 reason DCL is safe. Yeah, we feel much more comfortable letting Nathan kind of run around wild on a ship on Disney Cruise Line. I'm going to be interested to see what happens with us on Royal and how much independence we give him. So, and they also say their older daughter's number 1 reason is the entertainment on board. So, yes, I think all of those are great reasons. All right, one last question to round out the show to take us all the way back to the April Fool's theme, but let's be serious about it this time. I want each of us to give one reason why people might not want to sail on Disney Cruise Line.
Ooh,
Giving them lots of good reasons. I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first. Price.
You stole it. Yeah.
And I will say very little after that. I had my tirade a couple shows ago about price. I think the price has gotten wildly out of line with what the actual value of the vacation is. And I think that, on balance, you could probably find a really fun cruise for your family for far less. So you really got to be convicted that Disney level of service, attention to detail, those Disney IPs that you're getting to see are the reason that you're paying that premium. And if you are, then Disney Cruise Line is the only place you're going to find some of that stuff. It is a really great cruise line. It's typically rated number 1 for families. Royal's working hard to catch up with them there or bypass them altogether. But so I think one reason I would counsel someone against it is if you're really stretching to make a Disney cruise fit in your budget. I think there are ways to get on another cruise line and have a really great time as a family and experience cruising without paying the exorbitant premium that Disney's charging. So,
yeah.
All right, Sam, what's your one reason maybe you would say Disney Cruise Line's not for you?
So, I mean, I can think of a couple that might make sense for certain people, not necessarily for me, but I would say just they have a limited fleet, which means limited itineraries. So there are certain places that Disney, because they only have 5 ships, soon to be 6, soon to be 7, soon to be 8. But because they have a limited number of ships, they just don't go as many places as some of the other lines that have a bigger breadth of ships.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm there for the ship. And I don't care where it's stopping because with a 2-year-old, we hardly want to get off the boat much anyway.
Yeah.
Although
Let me ask you
this in that vein, which is if you get on a Royal ship, there's a ton more to do on the ship itself. Like the ship is even more of an attraction than Disney.
That was
Yeah.
actually, so I was, those are the two I was deciding between. I was deciding between itineraries because of the limited ships or somewhat limited activities on board. And I'm not saying that, I mean, I think Disney has plenty, but we don't have roller coasters and go-karts and climbing walls and not the same number of water slides and things like that. So there are other things, and Tracy's making the point they have less activities for adults than other fleets.
Yep.
That's probably true as well. The evening activities are a little more limited. So yeah, I think if you need that level of entertainment on the ship, there might be other cruise lines that have that, but the quality, I think, of the entertainment isn't going to be as good. So quantity versus quality, in my opinion.
Tracy is agreeing with me about cost, and Josh is agreeing on price. Bridget's got a comment here. Too many kids.
That's going to be mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that if you're, so I can't see myself in the near future going on a Disney cruise without my kids. Number one, for the guilt, but number two, for like, if I'm trying to escape the kid noise. Like, I love kids and I love other people's kids, their noise as well. But if I want an adult experience, I'm not going on a Disney cruise. I'm going to an adult all-inclusive, like Secrets, or we're just going to go get a hotel room at a nice hotel that, usually don't have kids at. Like, it's just, there's a lot of kids, which means it's focused on them, which is awesome, which is what I want, which is what I love about DCL. But that's not what I want if it's just my wife and I.
Yeah. And I think to your point, that's why there is a market for like Virgin Voyages, right? For a cruise line or even Viking and some of the other ones that don't necessarily not allow kids, but certainly skew older or skew towards all adults, right? So you are going to have a different
we're not looking
experience.
for a party scene, so probably looking more for the sightseeing, biking, or, Adventures by Disney kind of thing if we had that money.
Yeah.
And Tracy's saying, "Don't worry, Alex, you will get over your guilt."
Yes,
we got
as
over
the
it.
kids get older, though. So Tracy's got adult children. Alex, you have little kids, and so it will.
We have an 8 to 10-year-old and a COVID surprise, so it all started over again.
And Bridget's saying the guilt is the worst, so you're in good company. You're in good company.
Yes.
One person commented on the cost side of things. They said, "But all activities at an additional cost on others." That's true. I'm going to tell you.
Some, not all.
Up on a screen I have over here that you can't see, I've got our budget for our upcoming Royal Cruise that we switched to off the Fantasy, same exact week, nearly identical kind of stateroom. So we were sailing concierge on the Fantasy in a 1-bedroom stateroom for a week, Eastern Caribbean. We're doing Royal for a week, essentially Eastern Caribbean. They're calling it Caribbean, but essentially Eastern Caribbean port stops. In their suite class category, that's essentially a 1-bedroom for us, and all in for the cruise fare and the upgrades, all the dining. So we bought 4 nights of dining so far. We got Nathan an arcade credit. We got drink packages for Sam and I, and a soda package for Nathan.
And we have a cabana at Coco Key, but at the main pool. We're not doing the beach.
We have a cabana.
Club.
We have 1 Royal excursion at another port stop we're doing. So the food, the drinks, the arcade card for Nathan, photo package, internet, all of that stuff still came in under $4,000 less than what we were going to be paying Disney Cruise Line just for the base fare for the week before we even bought internet before we even got, well, I guess we don't need a photo package anymore because we're Pearl, but before we got any shore excursions from Disney, anything, like before we paid for an adult dinner on the Fantasy or at Remy. So like, I agree, these costs add up, but they're still adding up less than the same cruise on Disney Cruise Line in a comparable stateroom.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah. Depends how much extra stuff you want to add on, though. If you want to add everything extra on, you could get pretty close or equal maybe.
We've added just about everything we could. I'm not sure what else there is to add.
Well, the water park and the beach club, there are some other things, and we didn't do excursions at every port, right? So there are some additional things.
Did you get the soda package?
We got the drink package, actually, which is even higher level than the soda package. Yeah, so that one includes its soda, soft drinks, and alcoholic drinks as well. Yeah.
More on that as we get past the cruise. So I just wanted to let folks know what our upcoming live show schedule is like. We will be here again Monday nights, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, except we are heading out of town. So next Monday there will not be a live show, but we've got a really great bonus episode planned. We have Matt Hochberg, who runs the Royal Caribbean blog. So the sort of equivalent of a Scott Sanders on the Royal Caribbean side. He runs the largest and most well-respected blog on the Royal side, coming on the show to answer Sam's questions as a bonus episode. So we're going to get Sam prepped and ready to go for her first Royal cruise and let her ask questions of the expert, of which I am not. And so I'm excited to have someone come answer those questions for her. We're going to be back with our live episode on Monday, April 15th, fresh off of our Royal Caribbean cruise. We'll be having our friend of the show, Haley Curry, joining us to talk about Celebrity Cruise Lines versus Disney Cruise Line live. And later that week, it's going to be a double live show week on Thursday that week after spring break. So not this week, not next week, the week after, Thursday, we will be back, just the two of us live, to debrief on our Royal Caribbean sailing, to let you know what we thought. I'm hoping to have some nice slides, some photos, some video we can show along the way so we can talk through all of really Sam's thoughts and impressions, since it's her first time on Royal, but some of mine as well. So lots of great content coming out over the course of the next couple weeks.
Brian,
with that,
before we end the show, we've got to let Alex tell you where you can find him, where you can find his blog, and where he is all over social media as well. Alex, why don't you tell our listeners and watchers where they can connect with you on all things social media and your website?
All right. So I'm primarily a blog. So you can go to seconddadtotherright.com, like secondstartotherright.com. And but I'm also on Facebook, Second Dad to at Second Dad to the Right, and Instagram at Second Dad to the Right, and Pinterest at Second Dad to the Right. So if you want to follow me on any of those, I'd be super grateful. I always post a blog post, but I usually post a lot of dumb pictures and stuff too elsewhere. So.
Well, thank you so much, Alex, for joining us. We really appreciate it. And thank you for being our, doing our silly stunt that we wanted to pull for April Fools. We could think of no one better to join us for this episode. We loved having you on the first time. We loved having you on again. And of course, you are always welcome back to the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.